CSMSS Aurangabad, the students of the Shreyas College of Engineering Aurangabad, and also the engineering and the medical. Now, I would like to introduce our today's speaker, Sreenivas Mallipeddi sir. He is a healthcare technology leader with extensive insights into the customer business workflows. He has spent more than 11 years in the healthcare product development, architecture, and design. His specialties includes new product development, incubation, applying the clinical data science into healthcare settings, cybersecurity, compliance, interoperability, and cloud adoption. He has more than 23 years of experience in the software development field. He strongly believes that technology can and will enhance people's life if applied optimally and ethically. In addition to his experience, he has earned a master's in the computer science from NIT Soratkal and a master's degree in the cybersecurity from United States of America. He has also completed various specialty courses from University of Washington, Stanford, and Kellogg. He is also an active member of HL7, the Vinci Working Group. He was born and brought up in the farm atmosphere in the village area. And the great thing is, this technically sound person still has a strong connection with the farming activities in his native village. He has been practicing yoga since his childhood, and also he is a certified yoga teacher. He is currently working at Principal Solution Architect, Hearst Health, United States of America. Now, I request our today's speaker, Sir Sreenivas Mallipeddi, to take over the mic. Sir.
Thank you for the uh, generous introduction. Thank you all for taking time and spending some time to understand what yoga can help us. Just to add on to what Muniraj said, I started this journey long time. So today's session more of my experiences with the Vedic culture or Indian village culture that helped me to sustain my life so far. So it's more of the life I've gone through. I would like to share with you. So we'll actually have three sessions. Today we're going to cover with the body. Next week we're going to look at the mind, and then the following with the soul. So hope you all can hear me. Okay,
Yes,
are
sir.
you able to hear me? Okay. So quick, as Muniraj said, you can see, I just wanted to give a glimpse of where I was born up and where I moved up my life. So I was born in a small village near Hyderabad in a farm setting. It's still, we still have actively do the farming. There's one of the photo you see. This is the small baby cow just bought 6 months. I mean, gave one of our cow gave birth 6 months back. Recently, I visited my farm just last week. So I was still I was born and brought up there, and then I studied in Mangalore, a NIT called Suratkal. I'm sure you all heard of it. Then I worked in Bangalore for a couple of years. Then I moved to United States. There are few dots you see. I traveled across the United States during my uh, tenure of 20 years. Just to give, when did I actually introduce to yoga? So my father is a teacher. My mother is she used to she left when I was 10 years old. So I have to go with her for a treatment for 1 year when I was almost 9 years old. So 1 year I was with her totally in a nature cure hospital. So that's when I got introduced to yoga, Bhaktab, the Vedic way of living, vegetarianism. So that ingrained in me. Now, how did it help me? It's more of not just not as a fad, but how it helped me. So when I moved from my village after my 10th, I moved to a nearby town for PUC or plus one, plus two. So at that time, I was in a residential hostel and I was with everybody else. Now, in that setting, I could see a lot of my classmates, they are introduced to the other habits of life, right? Some, I can't believe at that age they started smoking, tobacco, so many things, but they forced it so many times. Okay, why didn't you try this? Why didn't you try that? But the what the real values instilled by my mother and my father and the environment given to me, just never able to accept any of those things. So that's when I was 10 plus 1 and plus 2. Then I moved to Hyderabad and still I had some friends living with in a hostel, sometimes in a accommodation, shared accommodations. Then I moved to Suratkal. Suratkal is a engineering college which has a vast variety of people come from different backgrounds, different cultures, even to different nationalities. They come there and they study. And also, the culture is that when you are in that kind of a culture, it's a multinational culture. People come with the different concepts. I mean, they have different habits, but the fundamental seeds put in me still continue the journey. So while I am continue my path of education, but never compromise the integrity that inbuilt in me. So then continue the journey further. I was in Bangalore again. I moved to US. US moved from different states. Still, I mean, I guess when you are away from home, when nobody's watching, right? I mean, you can do anything you want. So, but again the culture helped me. Now, all alone, I was still practicing yoga, whatever my mother instilled me when I was 10 years old. So I practiced in my college in Suratkal. We had a yoga club. Then when I was in Bangalore, I used to live nearby a yoga ashram and used to go there. Then when I was in US, and last few years, we have a yoga club in Seattle. So I actually started a yoga club called Ananda Yoga Club. We have classes every Saturday and Sunday for an hour, hour and a half. We do Surya Namaskar, we help others. And that intrigued me, the lifestyle of helping me to, uh, even though the busiest schedules we have, but helped me to calm down my mind, take care of my body so that I could be physically fit and emotionally good enough that when I go into corporate, when you're in a corporate culture, if you see, like when you go to office, right? I work with a lot of CEOs, CIOs. The culture is that, oh, everybody wants to use a foul language and they wanted to have all kinds of habits. But while even in the working in those environments, but still I know what is good for me based on where I grew up. I never gave up my values, though I was working in other parts of the country. So what I wanted to share with you, how it helped me as a human being, not only with me, like in my office we have this annual conferences. So every time there's a conference occurs, they asked me to take a yoga session. I gave 3 4 times, just simple thing, chair yoga or doing some breathing exercises, simple aspects of life. It So I was able to share with others irrespective of I mean, most of them are Americans, right? So no, not only few may be aware of what is yoga, right? They know the value of it. So that's what I wanted to offer and share with you. And I'd like you to ask questions in your chat, or we can connect after the this session. You can work through Srikant and we can get in touch. But the goal is that what I learned and I wanted to share so that I can practice even further them, and it should be able to enhance your lives. So now, why I choose this as a maximize your potential, right? As a student, right? I mean, I'm a lifelong student. As Shri- in the introduction they were telling, I still continues to learn. Like I'm still doing some courses in artificial intelligence. Couple of days back I gave a talk on one of the conferences. So life is a continuous learning. But the thing is that we all have this inherent potential. We can, if you can follow. So somebody is trying to do annotations. Let me, please not to do any annotation, please. Okay. So now, if you look at this goal, is that as a student, right? We are all start our journey, but in the sense that we are lifelong learners. But if we follow our the lifestyle culture based on the sound values, we can achieve the goals we have put for ourselves, right? Some of you may have goals to make a difference in the world, or maybe bring sustainability into the world, or you want to become a corporate entrepreneur, or you want to become a medical doctor, or you wanted to be whatever the goals you have, whatever the things you want to achieve in your life. It is all possible for us to you can achieve while not compromising our fundamental values and belief system. So the maximizing your potential is in each of us, right? So how we harness the power given to us, how are we putting in a proper way so that we can achieve the peak what we want to achieve. Like look at the lives of Sundar Pichai, or even Satya Nadella. So many people, they are successful, they are the role models for the entire world today, right? But look at their underpinnings, the value system they got. That's what we need to make sure we, while we are working navigating through this maze, let's not compromise what put us what actually gave life so far. So now we're going to discover today what is mean by your potential, what are the tools and mechanisms, what are the distractors to achieve the goals whatever we have in our life. So just look at the meaning of the potential, right, as an adjective or noun, but just look at the noun. The latent qualities or abilities that may be developed and led to future success or usefulness. So it is like the latent, the qualities and abilities that we wanted to nurture, nourish, and so that that can get us, take us to the path where the dreams we have, the dreams we wanted to accomplish. So that's the potential you all have. We all have the potential. The only question I can tell to myself, right, when I was coming out of my school in the village, there were only 3 or 4 of us just passed out of the school. In my PU 10 plus 2, only like 3 of us actually passed out. So now, I mean, I never imagined that I would complete in NIT and go. But I always believed in the abilities of myself, and always followed the framework given by my parents and my teachers. So as long as we operate within those guardrails, it is possible. Like I can even give you an analogy. Like I was in Telugu medium in until my uh, undergrad. I was only transitioned to English medium in my masters. I mean, it was tough, but I never gave up. I always believed in, and I always looked to the values provided by my even my parents, my grandparents. So that is the culture gives you. Culture gives you all that, like those the aspect of it. So we don't want to lose them. What we have to do, we have to enhance. Yes, we can go to other cultures, and I experienced I traveled to Canada, US, and Europe. So many people I met across, right? Yes, I was exposed to so many cultures. In that process, I took the best of all of them, but I never left what my culture has offered to me. So the potential, whatever we have in our lives, it is possible we can accomplish. So the thing I wanted all you to remember is, if we can really believe in yourself, in your culture, and the system given to you, actually there is nothing impossible. You can make that happen. But the thing is that there is always a glitter, there is always a grass is always green outs other side, right? If we lose our basic values, if we don't live according to what has given to us, even what is possible, right? As a students, what is possible? Yes, the knowledge is given to all of us in the schools, and there is a possibility that you have to pass out of the school. You have, there are so many possibilities. You can a good job, or you can, but if we don't inculcate the proper etiquette, proper values, then whatever possible in front of us becomes impossible. So we have to be careful about that. So again, the goal is that use the thing what you got to enhance, so that make it even impossible possible. So now just see some how what the world is saying about yoga. So yoga, there are different like the few quotes, right? Yoga, the best way to health and fitness. So we're going to explore why it is the best way. It is just not that it is coming from a land of India, but it is embraced today by entire world. Why? So we're going to look at that. Yoga releases the creative potential in life, like from BKS Iyengar, one of the yoga gurus, right? So yeah, so yoga is helps us to release the innate potential we have, so that we can reach the goals we all in life. Yoga adds years to your life and life to your years. So it is very important to understand. We are all living, but are we living in a quality life? Are we just struggling? That's what we need to understand. How, what is the quality of our life? Then the body is your temple. Keep it pure and clean for the soul to reside in. Right. So now we all exposed to some of the traditional values and traditional ceremonies, but we don't understand. But if we really deepen down and look and see, we have to make this system, it's a highly complicated system called this body, and there is something inside pure and pristine. Yoga is the golden key that unlocks the door to peace and tranquility and joy. Like, why are we studying? Why are we going to college? Right? We all wanted to that happy peace, and we wanted joy. Yes, agree, you get the joy, but don't, while we are on the path to accomplishing, achieving the success, we need to learn how to take care of ourselves. And another yoga guru, Radhanath Swami, says every living being has a body, a mind, and a consciousness. We all can experience that. We all can see our body. We all have this mind intelligence. We all have this consciousness. We all can see that. What is the yoga? To harmonize the body, mind, and soul is the art of yoga. So that's yoga. So now this is by, I'm sure you all know, heard of this famous philosopher Aristotle. What did he say? He's a Greek philosopher. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. That is the fundamental thing. In order to achieve the whatever we wanted to achieve, first thing we need to know who, and we need to understand ourselves first. That enables us to understand our environment around us, people around us, situations around us, so that we can go on achieving the goals we have. So again, this is one of the leader. He wrote a lot of books, and he's also a Christian pastor. And he's one of the quote. He says, "To grow yourself, you must know yourself. Without knowing ourselves, it is difficult to grow. If you, because if we don't know what we are made of, what is possible with us, then how can we grow? So that is the thing. To grow yourself, we have to must know ourselves, what we are made of, what we are capable of, what we can accomplish, what we cannot accomplish. So we need to understand that part. So now this is where it comes to the question. This is the fundamental question. We should think about it, right? This is the who am I? That we all, am I this body? Am I this mind? Am I this soul? So we all heard about, right? This various people talk about uh, um, this atma, this and that. But as a students of science, can we spend few minutes to understand why we need to understand? Again, once you understand, you can harness that power. Like if today you see, if you search in Google for mindfulness, you will get tons of books, tons of articles. What is actually mindfulness? What is, like, if you ask somebody, everybody will say, right? Focus, focus, don't distract. What is getting distracted by whom? If we don't understand who is getting distracted by whom, how can we focus and concentrate? Right? Then we also understand what is that. We all know this life force within us. As soon as this something goes out of the body, then we no longer exist, right? What is that? So once you understand, when you can bring a harmony of these three things, when you bring a harmony of these three things, you can able to achieve, you can unlock the potential. You or me, all of us, right? We can unlock the potential which is in each of us. So now the yogis view that we are the spirit soul with body and mind. But what is the generic view? The generic view is that I am the body, I may have a soul. But yogi's view is our normal view is upside down of a yogi's view. Now, what is the role of each of us? In order to maximize our potentials, we have to we have to take care of all these three things, and we have to harmonize how they work each other. So then we can maximize your potential. This is the basic fundamental. Doesn't matter which religion, which culture, wherever you go, there's nothing here. So it is a basic fundamental fact. It is that you are interacting with this world. First of all, you need to understand who you are, what is your role, and what you are interacting with. Then you can easily accomplish the goal. So again, there are a lot of quotes from different yoga gurus, right? So we have this all these things: body, mind, soul, spirit, right? Now the big Iyengar says health is a state of complete harmony of body, mind, and spirit. Now again, right? What is our theme? Maximize our potential. How can we maximize our potential? Only if we are physically healthy, emotionally fit, and we are spiritually strong. If you are physically sick, say sick with some disease, now how can we maximize our potential? Instead of being in a library, instead of being in a classroom, we will end up in hospital. If we, again, emotionally or mentally, if you are not fit, same thing, right? So this is what we need to understand. What does yoga helps to? Yoga helps to harmonize the connection between the body, mind, and soul. Okay, so now this is a question comes, right? So how many bodies you have? You all know, you all can see this physical thing, right? Which we can touch, feel, that is the physical body. Then there are some things you cannot touch and feel, but you can experience: the mind, intelligence, and the ego, good and false ego. Then the spirit soul, the soul, which basically whatever you can call, some call consciousness, some call xyz, but that is the one. So we are made up of these three things. So just quickly understand, so we have this the outside body, it's made of these five elements. Then we have the subtle body, which you cannot touch and feel, but you can actually experience, right? Then the superior body, which is the inside, right? Which is basically our outside body is covered today. That is called the soul, spiritual body. This is Satchitananda. This is a Sanskrit word. It is basically means that it is eternal, it is full of knowledge, it is basically can experience the full of bliss. So this we can go some other time in more detail, but just to give an idea to understand what we are composed of. We have these three bodies, and this gross body, like think of somebody has a body, they have a inner coat, right? The outer coat, they have an inner coat, then they have this body. So that's like that we have these three bodies. This another analogy. This is a story. I mean, I'm sure you might have read this story or might have come across this picture to give you a complete view of who we are. Why we wanted to know who we are? Without knowing who we are, we cannot grow much. To maximize our potential, we have to have holistic understanding of who we are. If you see here, what we have a horse. So we have a chariot with five horses, reins, some driver, and some passenger. So the analogy is given. The horses are like our senses. The reins is the one which holds the horses is our mind. The driver is the intelligence, and soul is the passenger. So similarly, if you wanted to go from point A to point B, the horses has to be controlled. They have to control. If you see, horses sometimes they have these blinders to make them not to get distracted. Similarly, we just have to making sure our physical body is in a good condition. Along with the good condition, you have to make sure it is not they are not distracted. And then we need to have a sanity in our mind. If your mind is out of control, it's done. It's very difficult to actually, if you see today in the view of pandemic and people are not able to meet other people, this is the mental health issues are going up and up. So we have to be careful and taking care of our mind. Then the intelligence has to actually drive our mind with the proper intelligence. Then only the the soul, which is the passenger, can go from whatever the destination is intent to go. Same thing, in order to achieve the goals you have, we need to properly control our senses, properly control our mind. We need to clear out our proper misconceptions, keep our intelligence sane, and finally, so that we can actually reach the goal or maximize or potential which is in each of us. And also yogic view, right? That is one view of yoga. There's another view of yoga. We all made of these five koshas, these five layers, and the spirit soul is within these five layers. And these layers are called Annamaya kosha. Anna means prana, food. Anna means food, the outer layer. And then prana means the life breath, the manomaya, mind, vijnanamaya, intelligence, anandamaya, the blissful kosha. So we all have this. We all can experience. But in the modern world, we basically, where are we stuck up? We basically stuck up in Annamaya only. We see, but if you see the pleasure you get Anna by eating the food, it's very limited. But the actually, if we come to this Anandamaya kosha layer, the pleasure what you are seeking is unlimited, the happiness. The idea of this yoga is to clean up or purify all these koshas so that we can get to the level we can that helps us to accomplish the goals we have. Now a question for you, maybe a couple of you can unmute and tell what happens if you won't take care of your three bodies. What happens if you don't take care of your physical body? Can somebody unmute and tell? Can you, anybody? Abdul Rahman, you can unmute yourself and can you, yeah.
Sir, we won't find that happiness which we want. We will be sad and nervous, or maybe our body will not be that fit in every situation.
That's correct. So if your body is not fit, what happens? Anybody else? So if your body and yeah, Rahul Patil, please, you can unmute yourself and you can speak. Yeah.
The activity which we will do, we will be not aware of it.
Say again.
The activity which we will do will not be attentive or aware of it.
Exactly. You are not attentive and aware of it. And also when we are not attentive and aware, we won't be able to reap, we won't be able to do with proper attention and care. That is very important. So now let's see a few more. Now what happens if there is no harmony, right? We talked about harmony between body, mind, and the body, mind, and the spirit. What happens? Now, when there is no harmony, what happens? We are driven by who? We are driven by the media. We are driven by the whoever can take control of our senses, right? So it could be a friend, could be an ad, could be something, right? So that puts us into different vulnerable situations. And then what happens at some point? Our see what is the enemy does? The enemy looks at the weak points of the opposite party and they will attack. And if we are not strong physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, they will find our weak points and they will attack. So with that attack, what happens is that we will be introduced to, we will be taken so many shortcuts. It could be smoking, could be drinking, could be drugs, could be vape, could be, I mean, the more subtler one, even the mass distraction, the internet. Internet is a tool. It is not the life. Facebook, Twitter, all these things are not the life. They are just the tools. We should use them as a tool to enhance our life. As a technology should enhance our life, it should add quality to our life. It should not degrade us. So now what happens if there is no harmony? Then our senses will be dragged, and then eventually what happens? We don't have control. Then our mind is out of state. Then basically we were under the control of clutches of this corporate. So we have to be careful in terms of we have to keep this everything in fit. You have to keep in body, mind, and the spiritual quotient, all of them in fit. The next is it gives rise to various diseases. If you see, even though people may be living longer these days, yes, people are living longer these days, but where are they living? Majority of them are living in hospitals. There is a book written that says that a lot of people living their lives in the hospitals with all the tubes. And so you have to ask that question. Yes, our maybe we increase the lifespan bit, but is that quality of life has increased? Look at the diseases. Like I have a friend who is just my classmate, he just got cancer. And I had one colleague, she was just 25, she just passed away with the breast cancer. So like these, if we don't, if there is no harmony, if there is no balance, we are subjected to various diseases. Obesity, what is, if you really ask the question, what is the obesity? It is basically like the food today, right? Unregulated habits. The food is available everywhere, wherever you want. So then what happens? We lost when we are supposed to eat, what we are supposed to eat, how we are supposed to eat. Like when I growing up in a village, there is not like you get a food anywhere, everywhere. It is not that you are you don't, there is no food. It is that there is a time for the breakfast, there is a time for lunch, there is a time for dinner. That's it. So everybody, you basically, you we align ourselves with the nature, then you take care of control. Now what happening with uncontrolled lives, it gives rise to problems with so many diseases. Now the problems within the family, right? So now when we don't have a harmony with ourselves, what happens, we get disturbed, right? Our senses get agitated, then our minds get agitated, then there is no harmony in a family. Then, like if you see the background of this picture, right? Like the wife and husband, they are just fighting, and then kids not able to see. So this is basically that gives rise to disharmony in body. Now this picture you see, there's a later a recent uprising in United States on the Capitol Hill. So now there is so now if there is no harmony, the body will not cooperate, then the families will get destroyed, then societies will get destroyed, right? So then the wars, you see so many wars going on. So again, because of there is no harmony, the harmony with respect to all these three elements, then that leads to wars. So then if you look at this picture, our this complicated mission of human body has many systems like nervous system, immune system, digestive, cardiovascular, endocrine, respiratory, so many of these systems. There is a harmony required among all these things. Also, if you look at from a yogic point of view, there is a physical body, there is an energy body, there are different chakras, there are so many thousands of nadis. The energy has to flow naturally. If there is a blockage of flow, you get diseased, right? And then there is body actually generates heat and cold, depends on sometimes so there you there are various things are given to us to take care of this. But what is happening, we ignoring, and then we want to look at it, why yoga western world is looking to yoga, because the yoga is only system can address all these complicated complex mission. Then now that comes to the question of health, right? So now if we don't take care, that leads to all the destruction. But what is health? The World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, and not merely absence of disease or infirmity. Health is a dynamic state, complete physical, mental, spiritual, and social well-being. It is they are saying that physical, spiritual, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So now we have to see, if you look at from their definition point of view, that we have to harmonize all these three aspects, body, mind, and the spiritual aspect. So let's look at yogic view of health. The yogic view of health is the one which brings the harmony in all five koshas. The koshas we talked about, right? Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya kosha. So these are the various layers on our basically the soul, the layers on top of the soul. Now, if there is the harmony means what? Like say Annamaya. So there is some, like, yes, we all have to eat food, but food is not just a life, right? You are just eat so that we can just survive, not just you are not living just to eat. So that, like that, each kosha, if you can harmonize the functions of each kosha and then live accordingly, then you will have health. Then harmony with body and mind and spirit soul. So it's like the three aspects, right? To know yourself, who you are made of these three things. And the current body, you have the current physical body, and you have the mind intelligence, the subtle. But the spirit soul basically goes from according to yogic view, it is basically goes from one body to another, right? So now currently it is residing in this body. If there is no harmony, if they are not all working towards each other, they are not working together, and then that leads to health, in ill health. Another example I can give you, like say you're working for a corporate. There's a CEO, there is a vice president, there is a manager, there is an engineer. If the CEO has a vision and CEO has a mission and the organization has a values, if all of them follows from engineer to the CEO, then they all will be able to accomplish their goals. But if the company is a Microsoft, the engineer he says, oh, no, 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 I just want to cook rice. I don't want to program. It doesn't make sense. Similarly, if there is no harmony with our body, with the surrounding nature around us, then that destroys our body, our society, and eventually that leads to destruction. So, with respect to Ayurveda, it says when Ayurveda has this notion of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, if these three doshas are balanced or in harmony, that leads to health. Now, what does our health, right? Our health depends on our interactions with the world around us, like how interactions in terms of our relationships and with respect to the food we eat and the environment we live in and the way we sleep, the way, so those are the depends on each of how you interact with this world. That's basically makes up your majority of the first health. Like if you look at majority of the problems today, a lot of problems could be, I mean, it's like say somebody's obesity or somebody's getting some special disease of HIV or those kinds of things. And there's so many of things. Those are pure interactions of a human to human, human to environment, human to nature. So some of them, like actually to the extent majority of them can be avoided. But then our health also depends on intrinsic. What does it mean? Like from the yogic viewpoint, we all basically have, based on our previous lives, whatever activities we have done, our current body is given with some qualities. So some are basically inherent. That it's very difficult to reverse those conditions. Yes, it is possible to reverse them, but whereas the majority of the health issues purely comes how we deal with ourselves, how we deal with the world. So those could be easily reversible. So I mean those are reversible actually. So it is important to understand your health is in your hands, majority, except the intrinsic part that comes from your past lives. Now our activities, whatever activities we do, those are influenced by our swabhava, our nature. If you look around, in your classmates, right, your friends or your neighbors, or some are uh, mild, soft-hearted, they don't hurt others. Some are aggressive, they push everybody. Some are always intoxicated. So this is the thing in the Vedic or yogic viewpoint. It's called guna. So whatever we are interacting with this world, the individuals are under certain gunas. We call them mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, or a combination of these three. So you're all engineering students, or some are even medical students, right? You know this RGB, right? A color could be made of red, green, blue. Similarly, or some colors could be a mixture of these percentages. Similarly, we are have this swabhava, that nature is combination of all three of them, or you may have dominant of one of those qualities. So this is called gunas. By we inherently have certain gunas, then each thing we interact with the world as gunas. Like say for example, if you're hearing a music, there's a music in goodness, music in fashion, music in ignorance. Or if you're eating food, there's a mood. So now it is important that we should strive towards to the higher gunas. So now this is a simple thing. It is just be aware, be conscious the activity you're doing, that itself makes you health I mean to the extent. Now, this concept of guna comes from yogic or Vedic. You see the picture, there is a boat and there is a rudder. So if you leave the boat in a stream, the boat goes along with the stream. But if there's a rudder, the boatman can navigate the boat to, yes, it is a little effort he has to put, but he can navigate the boat to a path where he can take. Similarly, each of us have these influenced by these three modes, mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. But we have to take charge of it. Like say for example, if you always get say ignorant means somebody is always in say just wanted to sleep. No, you just say okay, don't leave like that. Take charge and say try to strive towards mode of higher mode of passion and goodness. So that's otherwise what happens is that so your nature I mean pushes you, you basically go even down and down further into your lower gunas. So the mode of goodness is the one brings you the good health. It's a brings you positive state, whereas the passion is overstimulates basically, like that's what it, most of us are highly passionated and we wanted to do so many things. But we have to, yes, there is elements of passion and goodness is required, but you need to bring this balance. That's the yoga, the one of the yoga aspect, right? In our body there are two kinds of nervous system, right? Sympathetic and asympathetic. If you always under passion, that means you're always fight, and you will break soon. So you need to bring them in balance. So that's we have to that is a harmony we have to bring. The ignorance is leads to ill health. Ignorance means okay, not taking care of your body, not eating proper food. I mean there's so many aspects. So once you understand how we, so you understood so far we have three bodies. The next thing you understood what makes us ill health. The next concept we explored how we interact with this world. The way we interact with the world that leads to a good health or bad health. Now when we interact this world, what actually forces us to interact this world? The combination of these three mode of goodness and passion and ignorance, that is in us, that is in outside. But actually yogis, they actually they are above these three modes. They basically work above these three modes, but we may not be there. We may not, I mean now as students, yes, we need to maximize our potential. So we need to operate at the, try to push at the passion goodness level. Actually I'd say push towards more of goodness. That will help you. So now, so these three gunas influences how we think, how we feel, how we act, and how we live our lives. And so the humble request is be conscious and try to activate the goodness in you. That helps us to look activate the goodness around us also. So now we explore the concept of disease and health, right? Now health is the one you wanted to be in this healthier state so that you can maximize your potentials. So what is disease? The name comes from a French word called disease. Ease means comfort, this means not in a comfort position. So now is a somebody can go from health to disease quickly? No, if you look at the destination of a disease, it has multiple stops along the way. You don't get sick quickly. So now it starts with, like you all know, before you act, thinking, feeling, right? Think, feel, act. So first step of the disease is the loss of inner peace and contentment. Loss of discrimination. Discrimination means what is good, what is not good, what is good for, is it a good food to eat, is it a good action to make, right? We lose that discrimination, and also we lose this ability to hear our inner consciousness or inner conscience also to others who are actually telling good for us. The loss of sense of well-being. So now slowly it degrades, right? Then low energy state and fatigue. So then there's no energy, no work. Then we try to, then poor appetite. That means we are not able to sleep properly, eat properly, and our function slowly this starts to degrade. Then right. So then there's so many. Before we become sick, there are many steps in the path. So we need to be conscious or aware. If we are not conscious or aware, then it automatically comes why suddenly somebody's in a good condition, suddenly is in a certain position, because these are the various not being conscious, not being aware what's happening. So disease stages. So according to again Vedic view or even the modern healthcare view, first is that they start at the psychic stage, mental level, right? So then whatever we are going through, like see, like we all have this consciousness, right? It is, but now because of the media, because of what we see, the something goes, whatever goes on, it manifests on our bodily level. So that means that whatever the psychic stage to psychosomatic stage, occasional mental symptoms to body level. So what you are using your senses, hands, legs to, that is first started within your mind. Then what happens over a period of time, these, so it becomes to somatic. That means The physical symptoms actually overweigh the what goes in body. Now, if you are able to control at this level, good. I mean, to the extent actually, even to the extent what yogis do, they will try to protect their consciousness. Like say, the computer as a, if you're a cybersecurity expert, you have a computer, you have an antivirus, you have intrusion protection systems, you have firewall. Why you need all that stuff? To protect the sanity of your data and the compute power. Similarly, in this system, to protect the consciousness, you need gods. So now a yogi, they have all the gods in place that their consciousness won't contaminate it. So that means they don't even enter the disease even to the mental state. So that is the yogi Vedic system or yogic lifestyle gives you. So now, but if you're not able to control any of these stages, eventually comes to this stage, irreversible stage, that changes to structural changes to your genes. Sometimes it gets to cancer. I mean, so many aspects. So, but the thing again is the context we are talking about. To maximize your potential, you need to protect your consciousness so that you don't get into the cycle of disease. Now, again, we already discussed the causes of disease. There are two causes: interactional and intrinsic. Interactional is due to unfavorable interaction between human beings and the environment. That's what it is all about. It is in each of us our control. How we live, how do we eat, how do we speak, how do we walk. I mean, there are so many aspects of this actually, and how so that makes you unhealthy habits. So the majority of our struggles comes in this area, but there are something intrinsic, inbuilt or pre-programmed, not fully preventable or controllable. I mean, yes, there are certain processes you can controllable, but to the extent there are some things you have to go through. So this is comes from our past life. That also means that we have a chance to not to get into this intrinsic mode in our future lives, so that we don't need to suffer what we are suffering today. So this is just to understand. Once you understand this, then we don't fall into trap of these things, so that we can maximize our potential. Now, why this question, right? Yoga is just because it is coming from India. I am an Indian, or I born and brought up here. I practiced. Is it that become because of it is become popular? No, actually, if you look at why yoga is popular in Western countries, right? So now if you see yoga, as I've discussed, this particular diagram shows the only health, only exercise, or only whatever way you look at it, yoga is the only system helps to take care of all these various different systems we have in this our body. The body is composed of nervous system, immune, endocrine. This is a complicated. I mean, I was going through this yoga teachers training certification, and there's a course about understanding the human anatomy and the intricacy and how the different yoga helps you take care of this. So yoga is the one without causing damage to any of these systems, actually it enhances. So that's the one aspect of it. Then if you see that yoga helps you in all these various core dimensions. Even if you are working in a software company, and what is required? They wanted you to be emotionally quotient. What is emotional quotient? Emotional intelligence means you are aware of yourself, socially aware, situationally aware. I mean, all those things that the yogic living already inbuilt into it. That so this is and also it's a holistic lifestyle that is given to us by birth. To look at some stats today, 36 millions are more than practicing in US itself. Between 2012 to 2016, there is a growth by 50%. There's 1 in 3 Americans have tried yoga at least once. There are 300 million is the estimated number of yoga practitioners worldwide. And if you see even just a pure business, it is like 16 billion Americans spent on yoga, and there are 80 billion spent every on the worldwide. So it is not just that we are saying because it is basically the proof is in the pudding, right? You see the stats. So if it worked for everybody else, it can work for each of us. Now just look at few things how a true yogi's lifestyle, what we can imbibe from a true yogi. So there are 10 things we can explore each of them. There are I can also go. I'll go through them in more detail. One is that regularity in daily living. There's a regulation is very important. Then moderation in activities, balance between physical and mental activity, simple, nourishing sattvic diet, being in alignment with nature, being in a good company, self observation, analysis, and inquiry, expanding beyond I mine, guidance from a teacher or a guru, establish connection with supreme consciousness. So, how, question to you, some of you can unmute and answer, how regularity helps? How regularity? Regularity means there's a schedule, right? Do wake up at this time, do this, do that. How a regularity can help? Can somebody unmute and tell? Anybody is fine. Anybody? Yeah, Rahul, I think you have raised the hand. You can unmute and tell. Anybody else? Is there a regular? Okay, Ankit Prabhu. Yeah, please. You can unmute yourself and tell.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, when we rise, like let's say when we rise regularly on the fixed time, let's say it can be 5 a.m. So it gives the body to signal so that body works very proper. Otherwise, if we if I sleep on due to like a busy schedule, I sleep on the not fixed timings, then what happens that I gets completely disturbed because body starts getting diseased or I gets starting some problems. So that is my one observation.
Yeah, and also in the chat, Shivam says regularity helps us maintaining the flow of good habits. Yeah, see, if you see that in the world, in the nature itself, right? Do you see a regularity in the nature? The sun always raises at certain point time, and or sun decides to say today I went for a second show movie, and tomorrow I will raise at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. No, there is a regularity in the nature. The regularity brings the predictability. Regularity brings the regularity avoids the chaos we have. So it is very important that we need to have a regular lifestyle. If you look at any yogi's lifestyle, right? They sleep early, they wake up early. Why? There is a our life cycle and there is a nature cycle. If we can align our cycle with the nature cycle, you can maximize. Like say for example, if you sleep before at least by 10 o'clock, the sleep you get from 10 to 12, it's the twice the more quality than the later. And the studies, if you can, I'm sure you can do experiment by yourself. If you wake up early, you study, that is more effective. So that means you are aligning you. And also we talked about these gunas, right? The day also has I mean basically has influence of guna. The morning is mode of goodness, during entire day is passion, night is the ignorance. So that means certain activities are meant for certain period of time. So what happens is that if you do according to the nature cycle, then you can easily do those activities with ease, not with too much effort. It's like somebody is going on a river, it is stream, it is too current. If you flow against it, you have to put exert a lot of pressure. But if you can harmonize the river's energy, you can easily go to the destination without much work. So what we are talking about, we are trying to talk about maximizing our potential. If there's a regularity, you can that reduces the chaos in the our system. So regularity in daily living, right? Certain the schedule helps you be to maximize, not to confuse. And also when you have a schedule and regularity, then people know and you know what to do. Your body without actually without actually extra effort, you can do it. It's simple. So this is one aspect of a yogic living. The next one is moderation. Can somebody talk about what is moderation? Anybody else can?
Getting adapted. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Adapting ourselves as the time, place, and circumstances, or let's say as if a situation is now around, we should adapt ourselves, update ourselves rather.
Yeah, so moderation is more of like, say, for example, sometimes we eat too much, sometimes we eat too little, and sometimes we do certain acts. Like sometimes we study, like during the students' this habit, right? Towards the exams, we study probably 18 hours or 20 hours. but during the early so this is like that's a moderation. Any activity we do, there is a moderation is required. So he who is regulated in the habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains. I mean, actually can maximize, but most of the times what happens is in the modern world, the moderation aspect is totally not totally gone away. So the yogi maintain this moderation in all their activities. Then the physical and mental activities. So there is a lot of activities we do our intellectual faculties, but what happens is in the age of the social media, internet, we try to spend too much time on them, but we forgot to take care of our physical body. So it is very important. You need to, we all have to do certain physical activity. What does physical activity helps you? It reduces the stress. It lifts the self-esteem. It improves our mood, lowers the risk of depression and anxiety. If you see what is the biggest disease in the world today we have is the anxiety and depression. So take a time, even if it's 10 minutes, take a time, 10 minutes, take a walk, do some jogging or do some yoga or something so that you can keep both your physical and mental faculties in a good shape. Okay, so I mean, I don't know we have enough time, but I was we can some maybe next time we can do. I was planning to do a bit of pranayama and maybe one cycle of Surya Namaskar. Maybe next time we can do, but it doesn't take much time, and you don't need to go to a gym. It doesn't, you don't need much space. Wherever you are, you can just practice for 20 minutes a day. It is as simple as that. It is, and irrespective it is raining or shining, and you don't need to invest any money. It is you can just practice anywhere wherever you are. This is basically right. The Surya Namaskara helps you to keep in your body in a good condition. The pranayama helps you calm down your mind so that you can actually maximize your potential. This meditation, right? If you look at what is meditation, meditation is there are two schools of philosophy. Some says don't think anything. Some says focus on something higher being. Focus on some um, supreme conscious, right? Now the idea of meditation is that today our senses are being agitated all the time. The meditation basically helping to give that engagement. So same thing, you can, if you do just these three activities every day, I would, if you want, if you, I would encourage, or maybe if you want to take as a challenge, just try for 1 month. Just try for 1 month, just doing 20 minutes, not much, just 20 minutes, just 10 cycles of Surya Namaskar, couple of pranayams, some mantra meditation, and see what actually changes happens to your life. You can actually, you can see the difference it makes. And then after that, it's up to you. If you want to continue, you can continue. If you want, don't want to don't want to continue, it's up to you. But that basically helps you to, that brings that harmony we talked about, that brings you, moves you away from the illegal disease to keeping you on the healthy platform. Okay, the next one is simple nourishing sattvic diet. So now, if you see modern days, even the Western world, they are embracing veganism, vegetarianism. I mean, they are into it. Why? Because they know what is good for this body. There are some things is not good for this body at all. What is good for this body, we should only take that. It's like, for example, if you have a vehicle, it can only take petrol. If you put a kerosene, it may function, but the engine will damage. Similarly, this complicated, intricate human body has this intestines long and short, and we have special teeth, we have digestive system, we have these acids. All these things are meant for certain kinds of food intake, and and also we don't want our body to be a toxic storage. We want our body to be toxic free. Now because of that, there are certain diet is given to us. If you follow the diet, and you can maximize again your potential. But how? One is that you don't feel lethargic. That means you are not activating your mode of ignorance. You are basically, by eating pranic food, pranic friendly food, you are activating mode of goodness. So then also there is a concept called karma free. So what does it mean? Just think that not, there is no free lunch in this world. Everything you do, there is a consequence you have to pay. So it helps you to understand, is there a way, can I live a life without having any consequences? The simple, I'm sure this notion of the food, which is taken as a gratitude, that because even though however scientist you are, however technologist you are, however medical doctors we are, we cannot produce a single grain, we cannot produce water, we cannot produce air, we cannot produce the earth. So there's somebody is giving all these things, so we should be gratitude and thanking ourselves and taking this. That basically helps yogis practice it for this millions of lifetimes. Why not, we should try. And if you should try, I mean, if you can, there are a good amount of stats I can share you, how the whole world is embracing this notion of this simple nourishing sattvic diet. The next one is being in alignment with nature. So nature has these cycles, right? If you look at summer, winter, and fall seasons, right? Rainy season, you have various seasons, and there is a sun, moon, all this. There is, I mean, just so many of these things, and you have this mountains where there is a the prana aspect of in the air will be high, and then each of us have our own biological clock. There is the universal clock. So there are natural rhythm, there's a human rhythm. How can I align my life with the nature's rhythm so that I can maximize my potential? It is simple. It is, you don't need to go anywhere. I mean, you can just appreciate the wherever you are. Just take a walk in some trees. Just, and also whatever the thing you are doing, try to understand the nature's rhythm and practice your life accordingly. That actually helps you to maximize our potential by bringing that harmony. Then you see in this picture, what you are seeing is seeing iron rod. Where is this iron rod kept? It is kept in a burning coal. Similarly, if we wanted to maximize our potential to achieve the goals, the dreams we have, so we need to associate with right-minded people. So, like say for example, somebody wants to be a good soccer player, they will associate with the soccer who is playing a good soccer. Somebody wants to a good become a cricket player, they will hang around. Similarly, if you have a goal to become whatever the goal you have, try to have your company accordingly. Actually, there's a proverb that says, tell me your friends, I will tell you who you are. It is very important. All the yogis, they make deliberate choices in their life, what kind of company they want to keep. Same thing in our lives. If we wanted to maximize our potential, so we have to see similar people, a similar mindset. We need to keep that company. Now, the other aspect of yogis is this observation, introspection, analysis, and inquiry. So it's like, say you have a goal. Say, for example, you wanted to go from Aurangabad to Pune or Bombay. You are driving, right? So when you are driving, you know the goal, you have to check on the way also, right? Am I proceeding the path I am going? Am I seeing the mileposts? If you are not seeing the mileposts, if you are going opposite way, same thing yogis, they do this self introspection, the observation, analysis. The same thing in our life. Say you have a goal, or you want to maximize your potential. Now you see, you already established a goal, your path. Am I going path towards to reach that one, or am I going somewhere? And also the inquiry, right? Sometimes if you are not able to going the path, and you should take ask others who can help you. There are a lot of people can help you in this world. So there are a lot of mentoring groups, and I mean there are clubs. There are, so this is another one of the aspect of yogic life. Then expanding beyond I mine, the seva, the service. So most of us, right? This notion, it is most prevalent that anything anybody talks, what's in it for me? Is there any, if there is nothing in it for me, then I don't care, right? Everything we look at this world through, okay, I need this, or my family needs, somebody need this. But we need to expand our horizon from I mind to accepting a community, accepting a society, accepting a broader aspect of the broader vision. Now, why it helps you? It brings you that santushta, or the satisfaction. Most of us, right? I will ask you a quick challenge. Take one day, go to some whatever, right? Do some service. Don't expect anything. Do some social cause, doing maybe cleaning something, whatever, right? Do something. You see the satisfaction you get, and do the same activity for your own benefit. So this is another yogi, true yogi imbibes in their lives the seva, the service to humanity, service to think, I mean, looking around the world from that lens. Then, and we all need a, I mean, guidance from a teacher or a guru. If you look at in your school, I mean, you're all going to college, right? And you have various teachers, professors. Like if you are reading a computer science, or if you're doing data structures or algorithms or networks or something, if you have a doubt, where do you go? You go to your teacher and ask a question. Same thing in the matters of your life. Sometimes you may have to approach a guru or a teacher, a mentor or a preceptor who can help you put in a right path. So it is yogis basically imbibe this. They, even though they are practicing, they always take up a guru so that they're always under a guidance of a guru so that they can understand that subject matter well and perfect their lives. So again, to maximize, right? If you have a goal, say for example, you want to become a civil service, IAS or IPS, right? So pick up somebody who already done in that path. Can you that person can guide you, right? So similarly, the yogis have this concept of a teacher. So same thing, to maximize your potential, have somebody so that they can guide you in your life. Then the other one is the established connection with the supreme consciousness, right? So we all know, some may call different names, different things, but there is a much more um, conscious being who is more powerful than all of us. So now, how can we tap into that powerhouse? Like if you look at Christianity, Muslim, or Hinduism, right? All of them have this the way to connect with the supreme consciousness. Somehow establish that path. Why you do establish path? Is you are basically, we are all very minute. So now by establishing that path with the supreme conscious, then slowly you will get that strength, that grace. So these are the 10 aspect a yogi, a true yogi imbibes in their life. So the humble request is that as you want to maximize your potential in your lives, so I would ask you to pick something. So you may not be able to do all 10. So like I can go back to this 10 things, right? So in 10 things, so you don't need to pick up all of them. Just pick few. Start work on, like say for example, if today you wanted to work on this month the regularity, right? That means, I mean, I want to wake up at certain time, sleep at certain time. I want to school at certain time. I want to eat at certain time. So you wanted to maintain, you wanted to bring some sanity in your life. You wanted to avoid chaos. Okay, take that as a goal. And that helps you see, try for 1 week or 2 weeks and see whether it is helping you to maximize your potential. The next one is moderation. Like say, for example, I mean, we all have this problem, right? Basically, we all have access to cell phones. We all have this Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, so many of them, right? I mean, am I doing every minute? Am I checking for every hour? And see, yes, I mean, we need information. These are the tools that can enhance our life. But are we doing in moderation, or so just see how much time are we losing. So just say, maybe take a goal of this month and say, oh, I'll only check my WhatsApp every 4 hours, or before, after my lunch I'll check. Put some rule on yourself and share with your friends. Then make that you make the aspect of the yogi's lifestyle into your life. Then the next one is the balancing physical and mental activity, right? Most of us basically don't do any physical activity. Like I do yoga, I try to do, ask my kids or somebody, sometimes I ask somebody else. Even the small kids, they were not able to even bend. So because everybody wants to this we are so busy in all this so many distractors, we don't even take care of this physical body. Physical, if you don't take care of physical body, it is going to decay. It is subjected to be will become ill health. So take at least, take a time. If you're not doing anything, just do once a week. If you're, I mean, actually ideally you're all the, you can start a small club, a small yoga club, and somebody can help you practice some things and you can do it together. So just that's where you can improve your both physical and mental activity. And then the nourishing sattvic diet, just give a try and say, hey, this month I will try for 1 week only just pure vegetarian, see how do I feel. So the remember the three gunas, right? The you need to try to um, try to uplift or try to add as much as the mode of goodness. The mode of goodness you can add to your life in many ways. It is basically one is the way you eat, the words we speak, the things we are like the music, right? So maybe if you are only listening the music which basically agitates you, maybe try to see something which soothes you and see how it goes. Try to have that, try to have the aspect of mode of goodness in your life. And this is one, be in a good company. Being in a good company, it's very important. Try to find, spend some time, try to find that friend, that guide, that company which uplifts your goals, which helps you to attain. So try to find somebody, and you have to invest in the relationships. One thing is that nothing comes free. If you wanted to have that company, you need to invest in that relationship. See who is that person who is aligned with my goals. So try to be that. Take any of these goals. Next one is the observation. Just have a simple notebook and say once in a while, once a week, just spend 10 minutes and see how I'm doing this week so far. Am I at par? Am I better? Is there anything I can change a bit? It doesn't have to be you don't need to write like essay. Just could be like 3 or 4 sentences. Just say, okay, look at, okay, it's good. If you are even want to improve more, most of the successful people in the world, they maintain their daily diaries. They write. That actually helps them to see the act of writing helps them to see where they are heading, where they are, how can, and also the inquiry is very important. Like say for example, sometimes you need some special assistance. There are so many these days in the in the age of internet, right? In the digital age, you have access to so many resources. So then the expanding I mine, we looked at it and just see, try to add that into your life, add to like a aspect of the seva selfless service into your life, just once a month, whenever you can do something about it, and try to find a genuine teacher. So yeah, any of these 10 things helps you take any of whatever things helps you one or more, add to your life. So now so this is a quick summary, quick takeaway. So the session we started with how the Vedic way of living, the yoga, helped me personally as a move from a farm to a factories, right? Farm in a small village to places like Seattle or Washington D.C. and so many places I visited. So how it helped me, how it helped me to maximize my potential as a human being. Then we also explored today, who am I? Why did we look at who am I? That until unless we know who we are, there is no way we can grow. Like we looked at from both Aristotle and also John Maxwell. They had a few quotes, right? They said, in order to harmonize or in order to maximize our potential, so we need to understand who we are. We are three things, right? We are the physical body, we have the physical body, we have the mind, intelligence, falsico, and we are the spirit soul. So we have those three things, but we have to nourish all three of them. Then we looked at the why we become sick. What happens if we don't take care of them? We basically become ill health. And then the question we asked is, what forces us to make keep a good health or bad health? There are two things. One is our interactions with the world. Next one is our intrinsic things, pre-programmed things comes from our past lives. Now we also looked at disease and impacts of disease. The best is try to be healthy. Don't try to fall down on the journey to the disease. There are many steps on the path to disease. If we are smart, intelligent, we should be able to. We should not get onto the board of the disease. We should not get onto the train that says disease. We should not even get on board. Say sometimes we get on board and you should see, oh, the next stop comes, you should immediately get down and try to get onto the other side. Otherwise, it's a downward hill. What happens? Eventually the disease come to a stage, it basically cannot reverse it. It basically changes the your genes, changes the core of you. Eventually, you have to give up the this precious um, complicated machine we all have, this human body. And we looked at what yoga has to offer, looked at from both how the Western world is embracing. And if actually, if you drive in US, any city, if you drive for like 10-15 minutes, you see a yoga studio. Are they practicing a true yogi thing? May not be practicing a true yogi lifestyle, but they are they are embracing certain things. So same thing as students, we may not be able to take all of them, but pick at least few of them so that we can maximize our potential. With that, we can leave it for any open for questions, comments, discussion. Anybody has any comments, questions? Please feel free. Don't feel shy or anything. So anybody? Okay. So do we have some more time?
Yes, sir, we have got more 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So so what we explore, I would like to. I think can you all you share your videos and can we can all interact? Um, you can all turn on your videos and we can interact. I'll probably pick few people. I what I would like to do next is I would like to invite you to into a breakout rooms. I will put you 5 of them in each breakout room. The goal in the breakout room, what I want you to discuss among yourselves and see. It's like think of like when you wanted to try something in your life, it will be good you can share with others. Then I would will give 5 minutes to your breakout rooms. So I'll distribute into we have around how many people here? 70 people. So we'll put into like maybe 13 groups or maybe we'll say just 10 groups. We'll put into 10 groups. Then you will each group there'll be 7 people, and then you can discuss among yourselves and see what are the 1 or 2 things you wanted to try and see how you wanted to try, and then we'll come reconvene into the main Zoom session, and then we will share your one of your group members can share with others. Make sense? Are you clear with the activity? Anybody? You have to
Yes.
speak up. You can unmute and speak up. It's okay. I think you should. There's another thing is that you have to communicate. Otherwise, we won't be in a normal live session. I mean, in-person session, we can know the you are in what you're thinking. But in a live session, it's difficult. So
Sir,
the active. Yeah, go ahead, please.
sir, can you repeat, please?
Yeah. So I'm going to put you into a breakout room. So that basically, when I divide 7 people into 7 people in each group. So you will put into a breakout room and then you will the benefits of yoga, what we discussed today, and what you wanted to take on 1 or 2 things in your daily life, and then how you wanted to approach. You can discuss among yourselves, and then we'll come back to the main Zoom session and we can discuss. We will just give 3 to 4 minutes, if that's okay.
Okay,
Excuse
sir.
me, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Sami linked from this end.
Mhm.
Actually, sir, with all due respect, I just wanted to say before I go on, I have a ton of questions with regards to yoga.
Sure.
But before I go into that, I would just like thank you for taking this effort to collaborate with Geeka and to share your thoughts and your experience with yoga. Well, anyways, besides that, so I have a ton of questions which we can go back and forth and debate and discuss on the concept of yoga and discussing about different worldviews on philosophical perspective and supernatural perspectives as well. So like for the many questions, I think maybe I can get in contact with you and we can
Yeah,
have
sure,
a
definitely. I'm love to
precise
have one.
discussion.
Yeah, one-on-one discussion. Love to have, and you can coordinate with your Shrikant or somebody your Evolve club. Yeah, I'm definitely. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Okay. So I'll just ask one question then. In this case, because like I do have so many questions, but like, let me just ask one question. Um. So, just 1 minute. Okay. So, I've come across, I read a few articles from by Professor Subhash Tiwari, from the Hindu University of America. I hope you're aware of him. He said that he said that yoga is Hinduism. This is his statement. This is what he said, and he also said, I quote, "Efforts to separate yoga from its spiritual center revealed ignorance of the goal of yoga." So I've come across so many questions with regards to yoga, and basically I've
So,
done
so I think
uh,
just to cut short a little bit in the interest of time. So
yes,
there
yes,
may be many opinions, but you have to go to the source. The source is that Yoga Sutra Patanjali, then Hatha Yoga Pratipika. Those are the source of the books, and those are in Sanskrit. Those are translated in English also. So you need to go to the source, and also there is the other yoga paths also, right? There is the Jnana Yoga, Karma, Bhakti. There are so many yoga paths. Now, this notion of the yoga, people may have opinions, but we need to see how exactly what is their source they are saying. If they are saying something out of their own uh, expression in terms of their own understanding, then I don't think we should debate on that. I would like you to look at Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Hatha Yoga Pratipika by Swami Satyananda, or Bihar School of Yoga. There are so many schools of yoga, or you can talk through the yoga of Bhakti Yoga. I mean, there are so many bona fide yoga paths, and there are bona fide yoga teachers, and they have given the authentic scriptures. Those are the source. So I would like you to go to the source, and if you have time, we can debate on them, not on
yes, sir.
because I mean I don't know whom you referred somebody. I mean, I have due respect to him. I'm sure he's doing some good work, but I have no time or no inclination to, because as in the age of internet, or in the age of people have their own opinions, their own things. But if any dialogue or any debate, we should keep on the source. So I'm happy to do
Yes,
either.
yes, I absolutely agree with you. I'm well aware of the situations and the stance of how like we are about to go about this, and obviously I'm not meddling with opinions from other people at all. What I'm mainly concerned about right now is looking at the source, as just as you said, and like I just want to get an overview of what yoga is really all about. So according to the knowledge that I have, it may be a little bit knowledge. That's why I'm asking
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know,
definitely, yeah.
I know is that yoga it's basically a derivation of the word yog, and it means unifying body, soul, and spirit, and being union with God, right? If so, then does it like is it not true that yoga has its roots in Hindu religion, where
So,
there are about
so you need,
330 million
yeah,
different gods?
just be clear on that.
So I mean, like that's
Yeah, just be clear, right?
Can I just finish my point, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So like does it not have its roots on Hindu religion, where there are about 330 million different gods? So basically, that for me that points towards polytheism. So how can one be very specific to which god we can unite with, and which is the one who is supreme above all?
Sure. So the perfect question, right? That's. Are you done with the before I go on?
Yes, yes, sir.
So if you really look at it, right? If you really look at any the scriptures or any Vedic wisdom, there is nothing called Hindu realism. Hindu is a name given by when the this Arabs, when they were ruling India, at that time the Greater Bharat, they gave a name to the place out other side of the Sindhu River. They were not able to pronounce. Then they gave something called Hindu. So that's how they conglomerated all the people lives other side of the Sindhu River as a name given Hindu religion. So I can quote you references and on that. Okay. So now The modern day Britishers, when they came, they put all the people with a similar cultural backgrounds under this. That's one aspect of it, to understand whether what is actually the Hindu religion. There is something called Sanatana Dharma, that is the eternal soul for the religion. Soul, there is no Hindu or Christianity or Muslim. The soul is the it is the dharma of a soul is to serve. So that is the Sanatana Dharma, eternal religion of the soul. Now, with respect to your question about multiple gods, I would love to come invite you to a personal discussion, or maybe a group of people we can have. We can show you, we can help you understand the concept of a single unified, for whatever the name you want to call a god, or whatever name you give, and from which where other things comes, and how this entire thing can be harmony, we can understand. See, the thing we need to understand is, it is not the division helps us to understand, it is the unification. It is the, so now, how you rightly mentioned, there are, because of the thing is that the today's society, they were, from the time period of the Britishers, they came, they tried to, they were trying to inject the values into the system, so that they wanted to divide the society. Now, the whole thing, this is, if you really want to understand, it is the unification, how we can unify ourselves towards to a common goal. And you ask the question, is there only one source? Yes, there is one source. But in order for you to believe, to understand, we need to establish some background. The reason I'm saying that is, now any topic you wanted to, like, I don't know, which are you, BTech or medicine, or which stream are you?
In BTech, sir.
Which grade, which path? Mechanical, computers,
Computer science.
computer science. So in order for you to understand artificial intelligence and machine learning and robotics, so you need to do certain things to come to that stage, right? So like, say for
Yeah.
example, when I started my journey, when I was trying to apply for REC or NIT Surathkal at that time, I just finishing up my college. It was like 25, 30 years ago. And we went to the railway station and we booked the ticket. Me and my friend, we got different seat numbers. I had a question. Hey, we booked at the same time, same counter. Why we get the two different seats? Because I didn't understand at that time. Simple thing. I didn't understand. There is something called a central processing. There is a LAN, WAN, and this, he has just a dumb terminal is connecting to it, right? It took for me a few years to understand. There is a computer, there's an operating system, there's a network, there's a distributed processing, there's a central server, there is a something called RDBMS. It has this thing called ACID transactions. It makes you transact. So it is basically took time. Similarly, for you, for me to help you to understand that this notion of what is Hinduism, what is yoga, what is the purpose of our life, there is one God or many gods. I'm sure this is the right question you have. I love to spend time with you. Maybe we can catch up. I can talk to you.
Yes,
Make
sir.
sense?
A request for a follow-up question, please.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So I absolutely agree with you, and I would wholeheartedly
Samay,
accept the. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Samay, what we can do is, like, time is very limited, and we can have such topics and questions later also. I will arrange personally on this discussion. You can talk with sir. I will be also there, and some other interested students can be there. So let's move towards the session. What sir is concluding for this today's session. Is it okay, Samir? We will
Yeah,
talk
absolutely.
later. Yeah. Yes. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm sending it to the groups now. So let's.
यस, आप इसमें डिस्कस कर सकते हो कि आपने जो आज सेशन में लर्न किया है, कि आपको इसमें समझ में आया है, तो प्लीज आप Okay. Okay, na.